Apha kumenhloko khala ngomithi ngegama lakho Yesu ngegama la ngikwazi ucula but ke like that's the song that's currently ringing kum ngegama lakho Yesu. Molweni bethuna and welcome to Conversations with Z. Igama lam ndinguzinhle Limba. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today is another story time. Today, I don't know about it, it's testimonies with Z, or it's conversations with Z. But today I just want to share on the importance of forgiveness. Just the ability to forgive when someone has done you wrong. Now, when we are talking of forgiveness, we are talking of something that is, it sounds very easy to do, yet so difficult when it comes to the practicality. Forgiving someone for the wrongs that they have done takes a lot of courage. It's not everyone that's able to forgive. If forgiveness, okanye uxolo, yinto enzima kakhulu because singabantu siphakamile. It's not easy to say sorry to someone once you have wronged them. Instead of saying sorry, abanye abantu, they change their way of doing things, which is the best apology. I've heard multiple times, but the best apology is not repeating what you have done. So mhlawumbe ukuthukile, ndakuvisa kabuhlungu. The best apology will be for me not to insult you ever again, right? But as much as sifuna change actions, as people, we also want to be seen, to be respected. We want umntu to actually humble themselves and come before us. Umntu, uxolo Zinhle, I'm very sorry, I didn't mean to do this. Yabona ne? It's not easy to be the one saying sorry. And sometimes it's also not easy being the one to forgive, because sometimes what umntu has done to you is deemed as unforgivable. I'm saying unforgivable because there's nothing esinganokwazi uxolela. If there's one thing uYesu Kristu asifundise yona, wayebethelele emnqamlezweni luxolo, because wathi bawo, I think ilizwi lokuqala elo sisasuka epasikeni bethuna, ilizwi lokuqala lithi bawo baxolele kuba abayazi into abayenzayo. So if he was able to forgive people when they were treating him the way that they were, who are we not to be able to forgive? So ke lamhlanje sithetha ngantoni? Sithetha ngoxolo ndakaba. Lali mthanda koluntu kancinci. Cela uxolo baba. Andithanda ucula lexesha ndikwazi. So ke namhlanje ndizokuthi kuni xolelani, learn to say sorry when you have done someone wrong, and also learn to forgive when someone has done you wrong. Yabona ne? As difficult as it may be, but we need to ask God to grant us forgiving hearts. Because when we say, Our Father who art in heaven, there's a part that says, forgive us as we forgive those who have sinned against us. Now, if we were to underline and unpack that, who have you forgiven? No, I literally want you to think, I want you to think about it. Who has done you bad? And were you able to forgive that person? Has that person apologized? Sometimes we need to accept unsaid apologies. Now, without sounding a bit preachy, let me tell you about my experience. Before I shot this video, a thought came into my mind at a family feud. Not like a Steve Harvey, but when we fight as families, you know, growing up, we are told that akhonto uyogqitha usapho. Igazi liyajiya kunamanzi. Kude futhi kutshiwe nasesilungwini kuthiwe blood is thicker than water. Yet the most hurt that we experience ebomini is the hurt of okanye, it is the hurt that we get from our loved ones. Now, when my mom was born in a family of 2 girls and 2 guys. So there were 4 siblings: my uncle, my mom, my aunt. No, my uncle, my mom, my uncle, and my aunt. So Makulwa was blessed with 4 kids. When my grandmom passed away in 2017, I experienced hurt from my family. For the first time, I felt like I did not belong. For the first time, I felt like an outcast in my family. For the first time, I experienced rejection from my family. I felt alone. I felt lonely, empty, to say the least. Now, this is me basically writing a book. I'm too lazy to take a pen and literally write a book, so I'm going to be using my channel to tell my stories. It's sometimes not pleasant stories, but they are mine. They are the testimony that God has given me. Growing up, my family, or let me rather say my uncle, was close to my mom. Yes, they had their sibling fights, but we were never really part of it, because even if they were fighting, I would still visit my cousins at my uncle's house, and my cousins will still come in my grandma's place, and it was just not a problem. I would go to my uncle even though my mom and him were not in speaking terms, and when they were, it was like nothing, because it never really affected me. So as time went, in 2017, right, so I stayed with my grandmom and my niece and nephew, right? My sister was occasionally at home and sometimes away from home. So few days before my grandmom passed away, my grandmom got sick the Wednesday, and she passed away the Saturday. So the Friday, I returned from work. At the time, my grandmom was hospitalized. My transport at the time dropped me off, and I noticed that there were a lot of cars standing in front of my house. This gave me anxiety, because a part of me was wondering, could this be it? Does this mean that my grandmom is no more? When I got inside the house was packed. It had my aunts, my uncle, my sister, my niece and nephew, and some other people that I cannot recall. But what I can recall is that the house was full that day. Oh, I think it was my aunt's husband and her in-laws. So then my uncle addressed the family. He accused me of being abusive to my grandmother. The ill treatment that I had given his mom. He called me words, and hurtful things were said towards me. I remember I was wearing a wig and I took it off. I thought to myself, Bangabana, if this is happening and my grandmom is still alive, I'm scared that when she's gone, I'm going to be in hell. Little did I know that my thoughts were correct. They said things and the meeting was adjourned. The next morning, I remember, it was the 9th of September 2017. I had already bought tickets to go to Shimi Beach Club with my friend Uyola. And I had bought myself Reeboks, white kicks, and a t-shirt dress from T-Squared. That's designed by Utabiso. As we were about to leave the Saturday, my sister comes. She tells me, Bazintle, ifamily yabizwa esibhedlela. Now, if you lost a loved one in hospital, you know exactly what that means. I didn't want to believe what she was saying. I said, well, call abantu abadala, because andingumuntu omdala mna. Biza omalume nomakazi, andizukuya. Because I knew this had happened when my mom passed away. So I didn't want to go through that again. And a part of me wanted to believe that indeed my grandmom was still alive. Well, she left. Wayebiza umalume. Uyola asked, Z, what do we do now? Do we cancel and not go, or do we go? I said to her, Masami, xa siyahamba phandle siyokhwela iteksi erenkini, ndithi inoba umakhulu uswelekile. Then she said, Z, if you'll be miserable xa sihambayo, let's rather not go and attend to this. That no, chomi, masambi. Sasine gardens ndasela. Ndasela. We took the taxi, we got to town. Quickly, I did braids because kwaku too windy for me to wear the weave, the wig that I had. There's the braids. Go see, the braids, ndakuhlaba, guys. Ndasela. And then got to Shimi kwamnandi, guys. It was amazing. It was as if nothing had happened. But when we were about to return, lafika ikhala, because I knew ubana makhulu akekho. Xa ndifika endlini, my cousin is there. Ndabuza, unjani umakhulu? Wathi hayi shema ubhetere kakhulu, sifike right, ndalala. Ndavuswa nguLukhanya. Athi uLukhanya kum. Oh, ndithi kuLukhanya mna. Ndivusa uLukhanya mna. Actually leli noLukhanya. Ndithi uLukhanya, vukani mfondini le kuSunday. Funeke silungise sizakwazi uyobona umakhulu. Athi uLukhanya, awuyazi. Ndithi ke make intoni? Umakhulu uswelekile. My heart sank. I felt betrayed because why didn't Usisulu tell me? She let me believe that she was still alive. But a part of me is thankful because maybe I wouldn't have slept. As soon as Lukhanya is sicho, my uncle gets in the house. He starts insulting me. Sorry, but I would fall by mandituke. But ke ndizamlinganisa. Nizawu NY apha kule nto alendlu. Nizawu NY u1 izaba ngu1 ubhubhile umama andigive. Remember, this is the woman that raised me from childhood. I had no time to grieve. So that's how I learned of my grandmother's passing. So umalume made it impossible for me to grieve. Basically, I was deprived of grieving. I couldn't even cry. I couldn't cry. Ukubonisa compliments abantu bathi you are strong. Guys, I'll emphasize it again and again and again that it's not really a matter of your strength or being strong, but it's a matter of not having any other option, because kukho abantu that just decide sometimes into kubanga you are not worthy of grieving. I couldn't believe, man, indlela endatreatwa ngayo at that point in time by my uncle. He also made the funeral arrangements almost impossible because things were in my name and he was not pleased with that. So it was very awkward for me to grieve, to even cry. I could not be soft in front of my family. And ironically, family is where you are supposed to be yourself, but it was not safe for me to be myself or to show any sign of weakness. I had to open my nose and smile less and get things done. as a 23-year-old. I am thankful for the people that I go to church with, because with them, I could be all open and honest about how I truly felt about the misery that I had. I felt a sense of consolement. I was consoled by them. And the people that I had previously gone to church with, because they had already built a relationship with my grandmom, they were there, they were present. I had support from everyone else but my family. See, that's another thing about God. God does everything for a reason. It's for that reason that you don't need to be angry. Because even though the people you expect to support you the most don't, but God will send someone to support you, to make you feel heard, validated, people that will give you affirmation, and people who will just be there for you to get you to where you're supposed to be. So akho need uba sibe siqumbela abantu okanye sibamba abantu ngenhliziyo, because uNkulunkulu akasiyeki sibe sodwa. He sends someone to save the day. Fast forward, life after my grandmom, my uncle decides to move home. He becomes a bully. He becomes a bully. Like, he bullies me in particular, to an extent that I had to get a protection order from the court from him. A protection order at Funyana police station. At some point I thought at Funyana police station, but I learned during that process that you need to go and get it at the court. Got the protection order from the court. He was also summoned to the court in November the 14th, 2017. We're supposed to go to court. Saya court, guys. At this point, I no longer live at home because he made it impossible for me to live at home. That I left home and I fell with a friend, with a friend's family, because Galoko, my home is no longer home. I had church to support me. I had nowhere to run to. I know a place I will always run to in time of distress, confusion. Yeah, church for me was that place that I could always run to. So yeah, then I stayed, so October, November, let's say November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June. Yeah, June I decided, but you know what, I'm going back home. I've stayed at a friend's place for far too long, and home is home. And my kids miss me, my niece and nephew. And like we were a tight knit, and then now my grandma passed away, and then Gokusa in different places. I decided, you know what, I went back home. When I came back, my uncle still made my stay misery. I would run to neighbors, and I got rejected. Literally, omnye mama wati andiyazi noniyenza endlini kaMamgcini. Yo, which, and lo mama engumama endandimthembile ngiqonda like angandithethelele. I realized, but now, you know what, I'm alone. I am alone. I'm really alone. Ndanxiba iteki ndahamba epolice station ndayoveza laa nto ndachaza uba umalume ndiphethe kakubi sana. He got arrested. Inoba ngo-3 Friday. Bona ngo-3 kuseni Friday. Then he stayed there the whole Friday, the whole of Saturday, the whole of Sunday. He came back Monday. When he came back Monday, I was at home. NgoLwesithathu ne. The next day, that in Buya, wabepakisha zonke into empahla zakhe ephindele kwakhe, because he had a house anyways. He had a house. Ngoku bezohlala endlini. Wahamba waya kwakhe. And then after that, we never spoke again. He came back in 2019. No, I'm lying. He came back the following year, 28. This is 2018. Oh, 2018 go September again on the 9th. Kwabakho umbulelo wawusenziwa ngumakazi endlini. then I saw him there for the first time. We saw each other and we couldn't say anything. I didn't speak to him, he didn't speak to me. One of my cousins passed away, which is his daughter. We went to the funeral. We're both there, but we didn't speak to one another. We became enemies, I guess. And for some weird reason, I was never angered because I felt that whatever he's going through has nothing to do with me. And this is his way of grieving. It's unfortunate that I need to be his punching bag for him to be all right. It was emotionally taxing, especially when the family didn't like step to the plate. Fight between Tina Sobabin. So this happened in 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022. This year, kunyaka was 6. I was at home on a Friday, I remember. I left my place where I stay and went home. Got home, ndahlala kungekho umuntu. Ndihleli ke kukho load shedding, ndihleli ndedwa apha. Ndibona umuntu engene egeyithini, ndimbone efestileni lo muntu unxibe into ebubhatyi navy. Yabona mana sazilamba zabantu abangotata zinavy. Anqonqoze lo muntu xa ndivula ngumalume. I didn't ask anything. I hugged him. Oh guys, I hugged him, he hugged me, and we gave each other the tightest. I got yo mchala. He was patting me on the back. Yo mchala. Yeah, we had our emotional moment. He got inside the house. He updated me about everything that has been happening in his life. We spoke thereafter. We've been speaking. It's been beautiful. It's been great, you know. He called me, we spoke, we were reunited. I had to accept an unsaid apology. He did not apologize for the bad treatment that he had given me. Maybe he thinks I need to apologize. I don't know. But I know that I have forgiven him. I know that I love him with all my heart, with all my being. I loved him. He's the only uncle that I have left from my mother's side. So it was, yeah, it's been a journey. Like after 6 years of not being together, we finally are together again. So I just want to say, I could have chosen not to forgive him. I could have chosen to give him attitude when he got back by ending and be like, you understand? I could have decided because protection order, don't. But I chose love. I chose peace. I chose forgiveness. I chose to accept an unsaid apology. So apologizing is difficult. Forgiving is also difficult. But sometimes we just need to understand that ezinye izinto have nothing to do with us. Whoever is meant to be in your life will be in your life. Ezinye izinto you just need to let go of. If you have so much hatred and grudges in your heart, there's no space for love. Because your heart is filled with unforgiveness. Is there such a thing? Because kugcwele ukungaxoli. So funeke sibaxolele abantu. Uyayiva ne? Is there someone that comes to mind? Forgiveness. Is there someone that you have never forgiven? Is there someone that you want to forgive? Is there someone that you want to say sorry to? Pick up that call and call them. Text them if you need to. Unblock them if you need to. send them flowers, send them a card. Life is too short. Life is short. We need to make things right and we need to be at peace. Because once we are at peace, we are able to love. Great things come our way. So, tell me your thoughts about this video. How do you feel? Please do like, comment, and subscribe. Let us learn to forgive. Babayini betuna. What is that? Babayini betuna. Man phinde ndivale kakuhle. Masifunde ukuxolela igama lam ndingozinhle limba babayini bethuna.